The anticipation, I've been here before, somehow it's new. In a situation, holding on to everything you do. Take the time that you need, fill the space in between, sitting impatiently.
Yes, thank you all for tuning in with me. This is Self-Care Wednesdays. Yes, it is, guys. Yes, thank you all for tuning in. Whether it be the day, the night, or whatever the time of day you are listening to this episode, guys, I appreciate all of your support, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. This is episode number 63. Yes, it is. Yes, this is episode number 63, guys. And, on this Self-Care Wednesdays, I'm going to be talking about a special steps that you can get through, that you can try to overcome. Patience. How can we get to that patience, guys? You know what I'm saying? How can we get over it? How can we have the patience? Oh, we're going to be talking about that today. I'm going to be talking about 5 steps on how we can overcome this, and how we can, empower ourselves and build ourselves up with being patient, guys. Yes, being patient. So, I appreciate all of the new listeners and all of the active listeners. I appreciate you all, all of you new listeners, especially. I appreciate you. And, and just like I said, if you are new listening to my podcast, I normally like to start my podcast off with just giving, words of encouragement. It's a lot going on out there, guys. It's a lot of crazy shit, you know what I'm saying? Crazy stuff that would just be wow, So let's get into it. I like to start off, just like I said, with just words of encouragement. That whoever is listening to this episode, and whatever obstacles that is faced before you, whatever you are going through, only you know that. Only you know what situation that is faced before you. Only you know, guys. I hope and pray that whatever that situation is, whatever is faced before you, whatever you are trying to get out of, guys, whatever it is, that you will make it out of that situation and it will work out in your favor. Yes, you will see that bright light at the end of the tunnel, and you will get everything that you deserve from that situation in the end, guys. Yes, in the end. Yes. Yes, guys. Yes. And also, before, I get into my Self-Care Wednesdays, because, my Self-Care Wednesdays are basically geared towards, mental health, and also, personal growth and different things that has to do with self, guys, yourself, and you can probably listen to this maybe for someone else, and it can probably benefit them as well. But I also like to put a disclaimer out there that I am in no way, no shape, no form a licensed psychologist or a licensed therapist, guys. No, I'm not. This is just strictly from off of my own experience and my own opinion. Yes. And my own research that I did. And mostly wholeheartedly, things and stuff that I have been through, you know what I'm saying? Because we all have a story. We all go through shit. We all go through things. And sometimes it wears our patience thin, guys.
So fucking
Yes, it does. It wears our patience there very, very thin. Especially with what's going on in the world today. We, are running low on that patience. With what the government is doing, our law enforcement, just everything. We are running low, running on empty. We are running out of our patience right now. So patience is a virtue. Remember that saying? Remember people used to say that? It really sounds simple, doesn't it? Of course, from a distance, from people who would just say that, oh, patience is a virtue. You'll be fine. Just wait it out. You'll get through it. However, while the thought of waiting for something you want or need seems easy in theory, right? It is much more difficult in practice. Yes, it is. When you're actually faced with the obstacles, the entire concept of patience grows more challenging. Yes, it does. And it can be difficult to improve patience in that moment. In that heat of the moment, it can be hard, guys. It can be really hard. And I know in my life, it was really hard for me to hold out and just wait. And just wait on things and situations to change and, obstacles to, be clear so that I can see, how can we do this? This is a test, that patience, of course, rings true. And it's not just the simple things, but to have more patience, like for your family, for loved ones at work, and even the strangers that you're standing right next to on the bus stop or wherever in the line, whatever or whomever your trigger, patience is most difficult to muster up when you encounter a roadblock or waiting time between you and that something you want or need, guys. Yes. Just like I said, it could be, as simple as waiting in the grocery line and to get your groceries so you can take your groceries home. The whole time, for you to speak to that customer service agent on the phone. It could be anything that's big, and even down to the personal shit, like waiting for your doctor to call you with those damn results. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yes. It could be those things. You know what I'm saying? So now let's get into the 5 steps. The 5 steps on how to build and empower your patience right now, guys. So now step number 1, this is what you can do. When you're in that heat of the moment, it's best to just pause and breathe. Yes, pause and breathe, guys. Because if you use the time, you must wait to take a few deep breaths. Yes, those few deep breaths can go a long way, guys. Yes, it can. Your nervous system will slow down. And instead of speeding up when you're in that heat of moment, you just be like, well, goddamn, they taking too damn long. Hurry up. That time that you in the heat of the moment getting upset, in those situations, by the time you have taken all of those, rants and ravens, you can probably take 10 deep breaths and your wait will be over, or wherever it may be. It will be over. In others, these breaths will help to center your mind, body, and soul in certain cases, and it will help you to invite a more calmer reaction to the wait, guys. Yes, if you would try that. All right, now step number 2, stop resisting. Stop it. Just stop. Stop being that person. Now, this is the person that I used to be. I used to stop myself when I know in my mind, I would just hear, just wait. You're going to get it. Just wait. It'll happen for you. Whatever the outcome may bring. Like, for instance, I was waiting to hear back from a job that I really wanted. Back into the matrix. Yes, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I was waiting to hear back from a job that I wanted. And my patience was wearing very thin. Because, your sister got bills. You know what I'm saying? I got to pay. You know what I'm saying? So I was being very, very impatient. So I did this. This is what I started to do. Now, have you ever noticed that when you meet an unplanned inconvenience or a challenge with resistance, you are really thrown off? You become thrown off. And that's what was happening to me. It was really interfering with my equilibrium. I was really thrown off. Like, I couldn't sleep at night. You know what I'm saying? Because I was very impatient. And my mood, began to turn really sour and, really heavy, Yes. Everything became, overwhelming. And I just had to remove that. I had to stop resisting. Because everything becomes about overcoming and removing the challenge when you resist it. On the other hand, when you meet an unplanned inconvenience or challenge with calmness, your mood remains steady and patient right at that moment when you do that. This is the power, that you can take back in responding rather than reacting, guys. Yes. To unwelcome circumstances. Most often it is not external circumstances that make you upset. It is your reaction to it. To those external circumstances that causes the greater dose of stress in your life, guys. Come on now. How do you control this? We have to continue on trying our best to do what is good for our well-being to control it. When you are at risk of getting impatient, the trick here is to reduce the resisting. Stop resisting. Just stop. Just give it up and let it go. Resist those experiences that come your way where you are unable to affect change. Practicing acceptance does not necessarily mean like you want support or endorse everything you cross paths with. Rather, it means you're choosing to allow it to be there without resistance when you can't change it anyway, guys. Yes, in this way, practicing patience is the practice making your default reaction to accept what is with openness. Yes, guys, rather than resist it. This is not, a mean for you to have a welcome to that situation. Like, you welcoming it in, like, yeah, okay, all right, I'm gonna sit here and ponder on it and think about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of waiting. I want it right now. You know what I'm saying? No, you have to welcome it with open arms and enthusiasm. It just means that you avoid resisting it and let it happen. Just let it happen naturally. And once you do that, you will be neutral with it. And then you'll have a positive attitude, guys. Yes. Stop resisting, guys. Stop it. Come on. Let it go. Just let it go. And just, go with the flow. And that goes on to step number 2. This is the thing that, it was hard for me to do, to make light of it, make it a friend of mine. Make the wait and the patient time befriend different situations. You know what I'm saying? So assume that the obstacles you was put in your way because you needed to slow down and take a break. Imagine that. Imagine it like that. Watch your impulse to perceive the challenge before you as unfair or as bad timing. Instead, shake off any anger or frustration and take this as a clue that an old friend is reminding you that you need a moment to slow down and reset, guys. Yes, reset. Take that moment, take that time and reset yourself. Because if you shift your thinking about the meaning of the obstacle, you'll wind up arriving wherever you're headed with a calmer mind, with a calmer head, with a clearer head, and your attitude will change. Your mind will be free and clear and open, guys. Getting better at being patient will make your life, I'm telling you, it will make your life phenomenal, guys. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. And the lives of those around you too, as well. For your significant other and even your children too. Because your children can sense a lot of things too. And make you a much more happier person. Of course, we know that adversity won't be going away anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? Especially now in this day and age, it's a part of the human experience that we are experiencing right now, and we can't escape it no matter what we do. So you may as well learn to improve your patience and calmly endure the setbacks, difficulties, and unwelcome roadblocks along the way. If you just befriend the situation, guys, yes, try it. I'm telling you, it will go a long way, guys, if you do that. Yes, guys. All right, guys, now getting into step number 3, guys. Yes, step number 3. Now, this is something that we really need to try our best to do. It helps if we can acknowledge, the situation, acknowledge what's going on in front of us. Be aware, be present, acknowledge the effects of, being impatient. Yes, we need to acknowledge those effects on that, because in the moment, notice what is making you impatient. And ask yourself this, guys. Ask yourself, do I have control over this situation? If not, what do I have control over in this moment? Is the feeling of importance helping or exacerbating the impact of the situation? And what emotion or mood would be helpful instead of being impatient? What can you do to control that situation? Is it really important for you to be, all turned up and all bent out of shape just because, you can't get what you want when you need it? You know what I'm saying? We have to, get a grip and a hold of our emotions, because patience and understanding, towards ourselves and others is essential, and, when we're trying to, change this and, onboarding, new life, we're trying to develop this new life, this new outlook on life, to try to gain a positive perspective, a positive outlook, on different things. We need to really look at what could we learn from, by gaining this new perseverance, and to sum up everything in just one lump sum, just to try to recognize, those different types of impulses that triggers us. We have to be willing enough to say, hey, I know that every time when I get on the I-76 was I-76 here in Philadelphia, but when I get on this, let's say the expressway, I know that it's going to be a hell of a lot of traffic, and I know that my mind goes elsewhere to where I just want to,
So fucking motherfucker.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? Our minds, just want to just tab shit, just get turned up. You know what I'm saying? And, some of us go there, so we have to acknowledge those triggers and, ask yourself those questions that I stated before. In the moment, let me say those questions again. In the moment, notice what is making you impatient and ask yourself this, guys. Do I have control over this situation? Can you drive and fly over top of all of those cars? You know what I'm saying? Hell no. Hell no. Even though in the future, my conspiracy. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? You can't control the situation. And if not, what do I have control over in this moment? What do you have control over in that moment when you're sitting in an expressway and it's just traffic upon traffic upon traffic? Turn on the radio, listen to some music, or you can have an ebook, some type of ebook. You can listen to something that's going to benefit your mind. It's going to edify your mind. Learn something new. Learn a language, if you want to. That's just my opinion. You can try to counteract those triggers by doing something productive, because the next question that I asked, I said, what do I have control over in this moment? The control you have is you. You control you. You control your actions. You control your mind. You control what it is that triggers you in that heat of the moment, and you can tackle it head on when it comes, because you're acknowledging it. You're acknowledging all what affects you in that moment that makes you impatient. So try your best to recognize all of those triggers, those effects on your mind. If you can just wait it out, and you can also hope for the best too when you're waiting out. Whatever situation it could be, just like I said, that driving on an expressway, it could be that, or whatever thing that triggers you off, that gets you off. You know what I'm saying? When you're being impatient, All right, so now let's get into number 4, guys. Yes, number 4. You have to try to look at it in a positive light or try to make fun of it. You know what I'm saying? I was listening to a young lady, she was talking about how she hate going to work, and, of course people would say, if you hate that job, then find another job that you like. Of course, easier said than done, and, she has to apply for a job in order to get it, and she has to qualify for it. So that's going to take some time. So between time and, in the meantime, what she can do and to the next step to where she can get to a place of peace, in a new job, or even probably working for herself. Who knows? This is what she says she can do. This person can do. It could be anyone. She said that this lady, we used to go to work. She couldn't stand none of her co-workers. Okay. She couldn't stand none of them. So what she did when she came into work every day, she said, all right, this is what I'm going to do to pass the time away. She said that she's going to play a little game, not like a board game or not like a game you play on your phone or wherever the case, PlayStation. No, she said she was going to play a little game with her coworkers. No, not to manipulate them, not to make them, or disrespect them. No, she said that she was going to sit there and she was going to have a list of all of their names. And she wrote down, in a little spreadsheet or whatever. And she said, let's make up some names. Judy, John, and Tim. Watch when Judy comes in. Judy is this is the first thing that Judy's going to say. And she wrote it down. And Jim, guess what? Jim is going to come to work late. Watch. I bet you he's going to come to work late. You know what I'm saying? And Tim, watch. Tim is always coming in happy, or Tim is always eating the people food in the refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? Like, just try to make light out of any situation. Because if you try to be counterproductive and then try to, add to the situation, it could be, long and drawn out. And then that's when the impatience sets in. So try your best, try to make light out of it, try to make fun at it, make fun with it, to try to pass the time away. I know that when I used to stand in the long lines, wherever, it doesn't matter where I'm at. If it's a long lines, because now that we are in this social distancing stuff, we are, we have to wait in the line. Sometimes it's a couple of people at a time to get into the store. And of course, it's going to be a lot of people's patience wearing very thin. But as you can see, guys, those measures were put in place not just to protect us from COVID, but think about it. Think about the whole big picture, guys. Those were put in place to help us slow down and to make us have patience. That's why we were all on lockdown. That's why we were all home, so that we can take time to get back in tune with ourselves, so that we can be aware of ourselves and our actions, and to help us, slow down, as I stated. So try your best, guys, and try to make light of that situation, guys. All right. Now, last but not least, guys, yes, managing the symptoms. Now, this is what we can do to managing the symptoms of being impatient. Okay, when you feel impatient, right, it's important to get out of this damaging frame of mind as quickly as possible. It's like, red light, red flags, everything screaming at you. Get out of that frame of mind as quickly as possible. Try to develop strategies, as I stated before, those strategies, or you can develop your own strategies to deal with your impatient frame of mind and outlook as you notice it. As soon as you notice it, it's the best way to do it, guys. If you can do that, guys, because if you manage those physical symptoms, you can do by, just like I said, the first one, take a deep breath. Take those deep, slow breaths and count to 10. Yes, because doing this will slow your heart rate. It will relax your body and distance you emotionally from whatever situation it is at hand. Sometimes you might need a longer count or even to repeat the process several times, guys. You might need to do that. Being impatient can cause you to tense your muscles involuntarily. Yes, and you won't even know it. So consciously focus on relaxing your body again and take a slow, deep breath right now, guys. Let me ask you this question. You're listening to this podcast, right? Is your shoulders up above your ears? Is your chin tight? Is your mouth, a little, tight everywhere around in your neck? Well, relax those. Relax it. Drop your shoulders and smile. And smile, guys. Make yourself speak and move more slowly right now. And of course, it will appear to others, that, you are looking kind of crazy right now, but it can be beneficial for you. If you can try those, doing those different techniques, because remember, you do have a choice, about how you react to certain situations. You can choose to be patient or not. It's up to you. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you. The challenge is that your negative assumptions, instead of letting your impatience build, aim to reframe your circumstances in a more positive light, guys. Just like I said, if you just talk and speak and let people know right off the bat, what's going on, I'm telling you, that tension and all that, that you are feeling inside, that impatient frame of mind, it will loosen up. And then you will not feel like that ever again, guys. I'm telling you, if you would just try your best and try to incorporate those steps, and I'm telling you, you will be better off in the end, guys. All right, guys. Now to the number one tip, guys. Yes, this is the number one tip that I got from all of this. So, if you are impatient, just like as I was talking about, if you are impatient, one of them ones is up to you, causes you to react angrily, towards others. Now, these steps, as I mentioned, can help you to control this powerful emotion. It's one, people don't believe it. It's one of the most powerful emotions that we have, is being impatient. You can try to practice empathy. It's hard for some, some can do it, some can't, but you can try, just try to practice empathy. And it can also enable you to diffuse your impatience. Give the other person your full attention and try to see beyond your own frustrations by imagining yourself in the other person's position, guys. Because you never know what people are going through. I always say that. Just because that person is the way that they are, you do not know what's going on in their personal life, guys. Always remember that. Always. Always remind yourself that being impatient really has a positive effect. In fact, it may even interfere with the person's ability to perform, guys. Yes. 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 I'm telling you, it will mess you up, all up and down. It will, if you have that frame of mind, being impatient. Yes. Impatience will likely generate more conflict. It will give you more stress, which will be counterproductive. Although some people are naturally patient, like myself. Yes, I am. I am very patient. I mean, it's sometimes, I can be impatient about some things, but overall, I'm very patient. I just have that because I'm very intuitive and I'm very creative. So my mind dreams and wanders. So, so I guess that's what makes me being naturally patient. Yeah, because some of us need the practice, Some of us need that practice to be patient, for you to build and take back your power, for it to become a habit, So becoming more patient won't happen overnight, but persistence can pay off. Yes, it can pay off, guys. It can definitely pay off. And, these tips can help. If you try one, try two, try them all, or develop your own tips. And in the end, you'll have a healthy and productive life. All right, guys. So now I just wanted to, talk a little bit about, it's just a little bit of sound off. But I just wanted to talk about, this is the last Self-Care Wednesdays and Are We Here For It Mondays. And also this Friday will be my last, Music Fridays, because I'm taking a break. As I stated before, I am taking a break for the month of November. Just need a little bit of downtime. I'm going to spend time with my family and with myself. You know what I'm saying? I need that time. You know what I'm saying? That's my self-care month. So, but however, so I just wanted to just let you all know. So, thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate you all. I appreciate all of your support. I appreciate all of your endeavors, for, trying to get the word out about my podcast. People, are retweeting it and reposting it on Twitter. And, I really appreciate you all. I appreciate all of the love and support that you all have been giving, my podcast, guys. Yes. I really appreciate you all. And I also wanted to add, there was a situation that happened because I'm in Philadelphia and I'm born and raised in Philadelphia. And it was a situation that happened the other day. It was a 27-year-old, this past Monday it happened. It was a 27-year-old black male. His name was Walter Wallace Jr. And he battled mental illness. And he lived in West Philadelphia section of Philadelphia. And I used to live in West Philadelphia for a long time. And I just recently just moved out like about a couple of years ago. And it was really sad and, very disheartening. And once again, he was murdered by the hands of the police. And, just like I said, he battled mental illness, and the fatal shooting was caught partly it was captured on a video by a bystander, and that video had went viral. It had went viral all over social media, especially here, like trickled down here in Philadelphia. So the outlets here, whoever posted, they posted quickly to Instagram, and as soon as it happened, I seen it. My daughter, showed me. She was like, "Mom, look at this." And I just came home from my day job, my matrix job. Yeah. And I just broke out into tears, and I was just very disgusted, to see that. And shortly after that, they had protesting, and then the looting began, in West Philadelphia section all over again. And they just rebuilt back that section of Philadelphia. It happened over there. If any of you are familiar with Philadelphia, it's 52nd Street. 52nd Street is in West Philadelphia, and that's where they had like a whole string of, stores and mom and pop shops, brick and mortar stores, and they looted half of those shops all over again. And the video, is posted on social media, and it appeared to show, and the shooting had took place around 4 p.m. So I just wanted to just say that, it was very disheartening, about the story. The young man, it was said that the young man was holding a knife, and his mother tried to defuse the situation, and his father said that he was on medication. But however, the police was called in, and the police, 2 officers were pointing a gun at him, and then that's when he went towards the police. It's shown in the video. You can see in the video that he was going towards the police, and then that's when they shot him. And then the police officer said that they rushed him to the hospital, which was Penn Presbyterian Hospital here in Philadelphia, out in West Philadelphia. And he, later succumbed to, to those, being shot. They don't know, but of course the public, said that he was shot 14 times. You know what I'm saying? So, it is right now under, investigation by the Philadelphia Police Department right now as we speak. And, it just keeps on happening. Mental illness is really big. You know what I'm saying? And I think I read somewhere where his mother has said, they couldn't have tased him. Or the father or the mother had said that, father said he was on medication, but with that situation was very sad, very sad, very disheartening, and it could have been handled differently. You know what I'm saying?
So fucking motherfucker.
Man, tired. It's very disheartening. And I will be watching that story as it's, it's like I said, my city right now is in turmoil right now because of that, and who's to say what's going to happen in, a couple of days from now on with the city of Philadelphia. So I'm quite sure everybody has eyes on Philadelphia right now because of that. There are a lot of murders and killings all over everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But Philadelphia has a high rate for gun violence. It's every day someone is getting murdered in the city of Philadelphia. It's really rising with gun violence in Philadelphia. So with that being said, I want y'all to really send your love and support, for the city of Philadelphia and any other city that has been experiencing this, all over America and all over the world too as well, as we're witnessing the SARS in Nigeria. Send your support, send your love, for everyone that is going through something right now. As we speak, and especially for, that young man's family. Send your prayers, to his family to, for strength right now as we speak, guys. All right. So now I want to end it here, and I want to thank you all. I really want to thank you all once again from the bottom of my heart, guys. I want to thank you all for your support, and just like I said, this podcast is going to be getting better and better. I am interested in looking to maybe possibly have a host. I might, send auditions out, hopefully in the coming year to have a second host if you're interested in being on Creative Lips Podcast, guys. So yes, so there you have it. That is my commentary, actually for, Self-Care Wednesdays. And I hope those steps are very helpful for you. I hope you got something out of it. And I hope this episode really helped you all, and also got the word out as to what's going on in the world. And we need your support all over the world, you know what I'm saying? And I'm quite sure his family, I don't know if they did a GoFundMe or anything like that. I'll be looking into that. And if they do, I'll be sure to, put a shout out, on my social media and to support his family, guys. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate you all. And follow me on all of my social media. Help my Instagram grow, guys. Yes, follow me on Creative Lips Podcast, guys, on Instagram. Also follow me on Twitter at Creative Lips Pod, guys. Yes, come on, guys. Also, leave a sister that 5-star rating and a review, guys. And once again, guys, until next time.
Melting in your nature, you can have it all, just please say when. Take the time that you need.
You are now listening to episode 63 of the Creative Lips